Welcome back, Swans fans. Here we have our game against FOBS Peverel at home in the league. Today's game was marred by the weather. It was atrocious. It was wet. It was cold. It was windy. It was everything you don't want when playing a game of football on a Saturday afternoon. And then to add to that, the ref was pretty poor as well and made the game even worse. You can tell from the noise in the background how bad it was, and I had to move different angles, but I managed this here. Look, turn the camera just on as Tony Baker slots it home to put the Swans 1-0 up with a lovely little tidy finish. He's playing up front this week, which makes a change for Tony. He normally plays centre back, but he slotted a nice little goal there and put us 1-0 up. But like I said, the weather didn't help today. The cameraman wasn't up for it, to be honest, and it got colder and colder. And the first half ended 1-0, and the second half starts here with more rain, more wind. Look at the flag; it's blowing all over the place. But here they have a throw on there, and the weather showed today in this clip here. Look, no one really was up for it. No one's gone out and pushed. He's crossed it in, and the ball's so wet. Look, he's gone through the keeper's hand, and Reedy's poked it in for an own goal. And FOBS have got themselves back in the game at 1-1. The second half was pretty much like the first half, a dire affair. Both teams weren't really at it today. There wasn't loads of clear-cut chances for either team. It was back and forth. But what did stand out for me mostly today, and what I did watch, was the ref. The ref did made some very, very strange decisions today. A few I'm going to show here now. That he didn't give us free kicks. I'm baffled to find out why, and to know what course he's been on, to know what is a foul and not a foul. Because for me, if you tackle someone knee high, it's a free kick. It's a yellow card. And there's going to be an example of that right now. Dan plays the ball up to Bradwell. Bradwell plays it back to Chrissy Ever, who plays it inside to Northey. Northey puts the ball forward for Waldy. Look, he's caught there knee high, and the ref says play on. Now, in what level of football is that not a foul? I do not understand what the ref's seen there, and how we're on an attack, get tackled knee high, to then be ending up defending our own goal, and with no free kick. It's beyond me. But like the Swans normally do, we have a little moment, but we get on with it. We crack on and we try and win the game. And here, as you can see here, we're trying to win the ball back. We get it forward and it goes off. See, them challenges, that challenge here from Boozy. Now, where the refs looked at that shouldn't be making that challenge, because if he calls it back for the other one, people then look at the challenge they're about to make. But he was letting the game flow too much. He was letting too much go and making wrong decisions. Here's another one here. The ref is terrible. No one wants to be out in this, but you need a ref to get control of the game. And what does he do? FOBS win the ball back here. This is the second time I'm going to show you how bad the ref was today. They've put a ball over the top, and he's clearly offside. He's 2 yards offside, and it's been flagged. The ref said, play on. How can you play on when he's offside? The ref's reply to that was he wasn't active. So that guy that the ball was put forward to wasn't active, ladies and gentlemen. Now, to me, if you're on the pitch, you're active. If you're on the pitch and you're not active, then get off and play and go back into the dressing room. But that was the ref's thing. He wasn't active. And I cannot believe how bad the ref was today. But there you go. You get on with it. The cameraman had enough. He moved up to the changing rooms where there was a bit of cover, changed his lens, and is now, while we've got a bit of footage from distance. There you can see Tony Woodby coming on, who was brought on for our goal scorer, Tony Baker.
He's not happy.
And as you can see, he didn't take it too well. And I don't blame him, to be honest. He was the only one today that hit the target. He put the Swans 1-0 up. He was the only one that got us a goal. And he's brought off. It's 1-0 in a game, and you bring off your goal scorer. A very, very strange decision there from today's manager, Anthony Kane. Welcome back. First game this season, I imagine. And here's another example of why we shouldn't have took him off. The ball's come across, and we miss from a yard out when you've got a goalkeeper to beat. Not having a dig at you, Waldy. I'm having a dig at the manager here, really. He should have left the goal scorer. And the person who's in form, who's got a goal that's in the game. And as you can see here, look, he ain't happy. I don't blame you, Mr. Baker. I don't blame you, mate. I totally agree. Anthony's got a lot to answer for that decision. But we crack on. Just want to point out here our linesman, Mr. Cole. That's his example of being up with play and watching for offside. Now, where he's standing there, lovely little finish there from Matthew Boozy, but where he's standing there, how would he be able to tell that bloke would have been offside? I know you can't be offside from a throw, and they've scored from the throw and gone 2-1 up. But what the linesman's doing now is beyond me. I know you weren't happy about doing the line, but everyone's got to do their bit for the club. Get up with play, Coley, you idiot. But anyway, where I was standing here filming this game was from a distance, but it was undercover and it was dry, which is all I wanted. And here we're 2-1 down, the dying seconds of the game, there's not long left. Dan White picks the ball up there and he sees the run of Dan Shirley. He puts a super ball through and it's a great little finish there to get us back in the game at 2-2. Dan Shirley's finally got his goal after his wretched couple of weeks in front of goal. It's a well-needed goal for Dan Shirley. Let's hope it continues, but he's got to buck his ideas up, that boy, and get us some more goals. And as you can see, it was quite close to the end of the game here. Woody nearly takes the divot out of the ground. He flicks it over to Radley in the dying seconds. We get another chance to try and win the game, and it's well defended there by FOBS Peverel. Comes out to White. White then looks round and he plays the ball to Ward, I think, here. Who then plays it back to Chrissy Ever. The dying seconds of the game, we're trying to get the ball forward. We're trying to win the game. We're trying to get us out of a spot. But there you go. The ref blows for full time in what was a pretty dire game this week, ladies and gentlemen. The weather didn't help. The ref didn't help. And the game was quite poor. So I'd say a fair result was a draw. Both teams didn't deserve to lose that game. Come on, you Swans.